There are two main reasons why you follow any bad habit. The first is the emotional reason. You're trying to regulate certain emotions. You're trying to escape from certain feelings. You're trying to distract or run away from them because you don't have a healthy way to express them. For example, you might keep eating junk food over and over and over because in your house, you don't have any healthy food. You don't have any vegetables. You don't have any healthy meals cooked. All you have are snacks, cookies, ice cream, or you don't have a way to healthily express yourself sexually, so you turn to porn and masturbation instead, and over-sexualization and overstimulation. You keep doing these bad habits, you keep partaking in them because you don't have any healthy alternatives to express that energy. You use these habits to cope with them, to distract yourself from them, but the cold truth is that these bad habits rather, are only going to make them worse. You have to start by addressing the root cause of why you feel this way. So for example, with boredom, why are you bored? Do you have any sort of goals? Do you have any sort of purpose, some greater thing that you're working towards in your life? Or are you just kind of waking up and going through the motions every day and just being robotic and doing the same thing over and over, feeling like you're just kind of being thrown around by life? If you're lonely, are you actually putting yourself out there? Are you actually making an effort to go out and meet people, to go out and interact with people and make connections, whether it's for some sort of romantic or sexual connection, or even just for friendship? Or are you just sitting around all day at home, just mindlessly scrolling on your phone? Or are you just sitting around playing video games all day, sitting in your room, wondering why it's so hard to meet people when you never leave the house? Or if it's something tangible like social anxiety, then like I said before, face it head on, don't run away from it. You know, that's what causes a lot of us to engage in overeating or over-sexualization or just any form of unhealthy distraction, doom scrolling, whatever it may be. But even after you've dealt with those emotional issues, you've dealt with those emotional traumas, you face the root causes, you might still find yourself sliding into bad habits. But why? Old habits die hard, as they say. And trust me, I know it gets so fucking frustrating when you feel like you've taken care of yourself emotionally, you've addressed the root causes of your issues, but then you still find yourself just habitually going back to them without thinking. You just start mindlessly going back to the websites, or you start mindlessly eating extra food without even thinking about it. It's like you should be done with this now. You know, you don't desire to do that habit anymore. You don't want to engage in it because you know how bad it makes you feel, and you know it's just running away from your actual issues, and you know that it's not who you are, but here you are again still doing it. And it's like, why do I keep doing this? So that's what I want to talk about right now in this video. The other issue that you haven't addressed, the other side of the coin. From the emotional side of your habits, it's the habitual or the physical side, the literal neural pathways that have been created in your brain for you to just keep engaging in this habit. Your brain has literally rewired to do this habit, to engage in whatever this bad habit is. And it didn't get that way overnight. Your brain rewired itself to get used to getting dopamine, getting pleasure from that bad habit, whether it's mindlessly scrolling, whether it's consuming porn, whether it's overeating food, whatever your bad habit is, whatever the escapism was, your brain is now used to that. And it took a long time to wire onto that. So it's going to take time for your brain to physically rewire off of that. But you know what I found makes this whole rewiring process extremely difficult? It's that damn phone. Your constant need for stimulation, for dopamine, for consumption. When you wake up, you go on your phone. When you're brushing your teeth, you go on your phone. You're driving to school or to work, you're listening to music or a podcast, a stimulation. When you're at work or at school, you keep checking your phone to distract yourself because you're so bored and with what you're actually doing. When you're on your way home, listening to music, listening to podcasts, again, stimulation, you're on your phone. When you get home, what are you doing? You're on your phone. When you're about to go to bed, you're on your phone in bed. Damn near 24 hours a day, we're just on our phones. We're constantly frying our dopamine receptors. It's like a drug user. They might start out just on low doses, but eventually they build up a tolerance to that low dose. So then they need a little bit more. They need a stronger strain of the drug. They need a higher dose of the drug. And that's exactly what happens with your bad habits. And that's exactly what happens with your phone use. That's why even if you're not bored anymore, you're not lonely, you're not anxious, you're not covering up emotional traumas, your brain has still been trained for daily dopamine dependence. And what are you even doing on your phone? I guarantee you it's nothing really important. Mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Check your screen time. Check your screen time right now. I guarantee you your screen time is over 10 hours.
That was literally the worst 10 hours of my life.
10 hours, dude. Almost your entire day. If you're assuming you're sleeping 8 hours, that means you're awake for 16 hours and you're spending 10 plus hours on your phone. That's almost your entire fucking day that you're just spending mindlessly on your phone. You're just going from the time you wake up, always on your phone, always stimulation, always content, always consuming. And then you wonder why you can't stop looking at porn, for example. Because what even is porn? It's just brain rot. If you think about it, it's just content, but it's very stimulating content. It rots your brain. It literally rots your dopamine receptors. And there are scientific studies to back that up. Same thing with junk food, very sugary foods. What do high amounts of sugar do? They give you a lot of pleasure. They give you a lot of dopamine. You still practice these bad habits because you're still addicted to dopamine. And you're still addicted to dopamine because you're still addicted to your phone. What else did you think was going to happen? You don't know how to just relax and be calm and be at peace. You don't know how to just let go of all the thoughts, let go of all the distractions, because just a regular amount of stimulation, just a regular amount of dopamine from something like going outside and getting fresh air and feeling the sunshine and hearing the birds chirping, or a regular amount of dopamine from going and having a good conversation with someone, that's not enough for your brain anymore. And so now you're like the drug addict who needs a harder and harder and harder hit of the drug because their tolerance is now so high. Your tolerance to dopamine is so high. It's become normal now. This is our new normal state. That's why even when we really want to do something, we really want to go to the gym, we really want to go and get some work done, like you actually want to be productive, you still procrastinate. Because it's like, let me just grab my phone real quick. We're getting ready to go out somewhere. Oh, let me just grab my phone and scroll for like 5 minutes. You can't even just sit down and relax and put the phone down for a few minutes. But in 2024, going into 2025, we live in a society now where we don't know how to sit still anymore. We literally have attention spans worse than that of goldfish. We don't know how to just sit down and be calm and be present. We're literally giving ourselves brain rot. We're giving ourselves anxiety by constantly being on the phone. And this overstimulation, it makes it so that we're constantly in a state of fight or flight. We can never get into the rest and digest mode. If you really pay attention to your mind and to your body before you engage in a bad habit, for example, before you go back and watch some porn and have a relapse, if you notice your body starts to get a little tense, your heart starts to beat a little faster, your breath might quicken a little bit, you're getting into that anxious, overstimulated state. It's like drinking too much caffeine and you can't sit still, you can't be calm, you're just in this overstimulated state. You just going. We can never relax, and that's why we're always anxious. That's why you can't enjoy the moment. And after your body starts to tense up and your heart rate starts to speed up, all your thoughts and all your energy start to flow towards this habit, to what you're about to do, right? To the porn you're about to watch or the fast food that you're about to eat. The devil lies in the anticipation, in the buildup. Because a lot of time, this buildup provides even more stimulation than the actual activity itself. And you might even get to a point like I did in the past where your brain doesn't even want to do the actual activity anymore, but it just craves the stimulation. It craves the anticipation. It craves the buildup. It's edging. You start to get used to being in that anticipation state, in that buildup state, and that becomes your new normal. It just becomes habitual. It's like you just constantly need your phone near you. You constantly just need it in your hand for no reason at all. It's like it constantly needs to be on you somewhere. You can't even just put it on the counter over there and just leave it there for 5 minutes. If you're playing a game, it's like the loading screen comes on. Oh, let me check my phone real quick. You're watching a sports game. Oh, there's commercials. Let me just go on my phone. Just pause for a second. Have a moment of stillness, a moment of quiet. let your brain and your mind relax for a little bit. And then you'll feel so much better if you do that. Try it. Next time you're watching TV, when there's commercials on, just mute the commercials. Don't go on your phone. And enjoy some peace and quiet for like 5 minutes. See how you feel. Notice how you feel. Because I noticed that when I finally just put that phone down, you put it on do not disturb, you just leave it off to the side, you can finally relax. You can finally just let go. You notice this level of tension that you didn't notice before, that just releases from your body as soon as you just put the phone down, as soon as you just turn it off and put it out of sight. You can finally relax. You can finally just sink into the present moment, into whatever it is that you are doing. As I was writing out this script for this video, I was literally playing some Ninja Gaiden 2. I was playing it for the first time on Xbox Game Pass. I noticed that I did the same thing. I was playing it and but I was just sitting there. I wasn't really focused on what I was doing. I was kind of just like mindlessly playing it, eyes glazed over. But then I put my phone just behind me. I just threw it on the ground behind me. And then literally as soon as I did that, it just brought me a deeper level of focus. I was actually able to fully immerse myself in the game, in the story, in the environment, in what I was doing. I was able to immerse myself because I removed that distraction. It's the same thing with when you go to sleep and you leave your phone out of the room, or at the very least you leave your phone out of arm's reach. It's not on your nightstand. Maybe it's on the other side of your room. If you do that, you'll notice there's a deeper level of relaxation. It's a lot easier to fall asleep because you're not thinking about, oh, let me watch this video. Let me check Instagram real quick. Let me text my friend real quick. You're just laying there in bed. It's warm, it's comfortable, you're tired. And the phone is so far away that it's I don't want to get up out of bed in order to get my phone. And then it's way easier to just fall asleep and fall into a deep, restful, relaxed state. When you stop going on your phone all the time, you start to rewire your brain and therefore rewire your reality. You're creating and reinforcing a reality where, hey, I don't need to be on my phone all the time. I don't need to constantly have my phone on me. I don't need to be constantly checking it or checking social media or checking my notifications. I can put it off to the side, not worry about it, and just relax fully into the present moment, which is really the most important thing that you can do. Not whatever's on the phone, but whatever is happening right now. So when you're on a streak of practicing your good habits, let's say you have a lot of momentum with semen retention, or you've been hitting your calorie deficit for multiple days, multiple weeks in a row, you've just been locked in. You've just been going to bed on time. You've been checking off all the boxes every single day. You've just been doing what you need to do. This is when I notice those self-sabotaging thoughts start to pop up, those overstimulating type of thoughts. It's hey, why don't we just take a break? Why don't we just overeat this one day? Why don't we just have some extra food? You've been doing a good job, right? You've earned it. Why don't we just take a little peek at these pictures or whatever? Why don't we just take a little peek on Instagram or Reddit at these hot girls or whatever? Just mindless distraction, right? It's no harm. You've been off of it. Your brain starts to give you all these BS thoughts. That's what I call the dopamine fiend. Some people call it the hijacker. It's the part of your brain that's still addicted to stimulation, the part of your brain that you've been starving, that's been slowly rewiring. It hasn't fully rewired. It's still in the process of being fixed. It's the part of your brain that just wants to be lazy and have instant pleasure, instant dopamine right at their fingertips. So when those thoughts inevitably pop up, I want you to remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are not your brain. You are not these neural pathways. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind it all. When you see all those thoughts start to creep up, you see the dopamine fiend start to whisper in your ear, don't engage in those thoughts. Just, you can acknowledge them. Oh, hey, I see those thoughts. And then you see them going away. It's you see a car driving down the road and you don't run and go jump in front of the car or try and stop it. You just see the car driving by and then you see it drive away. That's how you have to treat your thoughts. That's how you have to treat these emotions. The temptation might be so great in the moment, but just remember that these thoughts will pass. The way, in my opinion, to kill those thoughts and those temptations and those urges completely after you've already healed your emotional issues and you're no longer using these bad habits to cover up emotional issues is to put the damn phone down. Stop the cravings for constant distraction and overstimulation. Cut them off at their root source. Replace them with mindful activities that get you grounded into reality, into the present moment, like meditation or yoga or some form of breath work, even just reading a book. Things you can do without your phone. And we have plenty of actual scientific studies showing that when you practice mindfulness, when you practice meditation, your brain physically changes. So all those neural pathways of you constantly needing stimulation, now that's literally physically being replaced by pathways of calmness and groundedness. Your brain literally becomes better at being calm. And you enter a reality where you're just naturally more relaxed. Your mind and your body is not so tensed up all the time. You're not always in this fight or flight state. A state of peace and calm and presence where you finally start to feel less anxious because you're no longer worrying about what else you could be doing, those old habits. When you're grounded in reality and you face and accept your reality, you don't want distraction anymore. You want to remain right here because you finally learn to face it and face your own fears and face your own anxieties and to start creating and building the life that you want to live. The life that you want to live is being built by you, for you, right now. This is where you want to be. This is where you want to live. The reality that you want, that is in line with who you are, can only exist in the present moment, right here, right now. It can't exist on social media. It can't exist in fucking porn. It can only exist in reality. Only you can live the life that you want to live. Only you can make it happen. When you're grounded in reality, you start to derive pleasure from being present, from being in reality, because every day you're facing reality and every day you're winning. Every day you're building. Every day you're creating the life you want to live. You're growing into the man or woman that you want to be. And you start to derive deep, fulfilling pleasure from that on a deeper spiritual level because you are now acting in accordance with who you are. Your attention and your energy isn't constantly being sapped away by the phone and all its many distractions. You are right here, right now, exactly where you need to be. So every day, strive to reduce your screen time. Allow your brain to heal and rewire, to stop craving constant stimulation and constant distraction, so that you can stop falling into the same mindless patterns of behavior, so that you can stop practicing your bad habits even when emotionally you no longer want to, so that you can stop self-sabotaging and finally achieve the goals that you have always wanted to achieve and creating the life that you have always wanted to live. And so you can finally be the person that you know you are deep down, so that you can finally be the truest expression of you.